All right, hello everyone, and welcome back. This is the Echols Unlimited podcast. I'm your host, Terrence Echols, and today I have a very special episode coming up for you. This is with one of my very good friends and co-workers. His name is Sam Stack. Sam is from the Bay Area, California. He graduated from the University of Oregon, where he was a student manager for the men's basketball team. Sam has a lot of really great work experience as well. He has worked in NBA Summer League. He's worked for the San Francisco Giants, and now he is my coworker with the Cleveland Guardians. We actually sit right next to each other in the office, so we have a great relationship. We have a great bond, and yeah, we had a great conversation. We talked a lot about just different things that are happening within sports media, as well as our careers and what it's like to work in sports as a young professional. And please take some time to listen to this podcast, and I hope you enjoy it. Also, do not forget to subscribe. Please subscribe to the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe, follow the channel, like us on LinkedIn. Do whatever you can to support the podcast in whatever way you can. So I appreciate everyone who takes a listen today, and enjoy.
Are you gonna do an intro?
No.
We just
I recorded beforehand.
intro.
We just start talking, man. Cheers on the way.
You don't have an ad?
No, I wish I had an ad.
We can make an ad.
Okay.
We can advertise an idea that I've had many times.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, have you ever lost your sock? I have a problem where I have a lot of one-sided socks. I have a lot of different brands too, so it's I think that there should just be a way to buy one single sock. I think there should be you should just sell singular socks, also with double socks. If you have okay, that's not a good one. I have other ideas.
Like popular sock brands, you'd have one sock just to sell.
Yeah.
So I lose my sock in the laundry from time to time.
Yes.
I don't ever lose it because I have a feet thing, right?
What does that mean?
I put a phobia.
You don't like feet?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm grotesque. We've talked about this.
No, but I don't like feet either. I think they're weird looking.
Dude, let's go.
Yeah. I don't like Lord of the Rings. That's the only thing I don't like about Lord of the Rings. They don't wear shoes.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never watched Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like it. So basically, yeah, just sell one sock and you get one.
That's not a bad idea. What's your other one?
So it was originally airport showers.
Okay.
You go to the airport, it's a rough morning. You could be hungover or it could just be really early. A shower is the one thing that would hit the one thing that you want, an airport shower. But then I learned about an airport comfort room. An airport room that's cooled down, you can go in and take a shower, it might have food, and it's not like the elite club. This is for the common man. You don't have to have a special membership. And then obviously we have people cleaning it every day and things like that.
So an airport bathroom, except
An airport
locker room.
comfort lounge. An airport comfort lounge for the people.
Dog, they have those.
Yeah, but that's exclusive and you got to pay a lot of money for them.
So
and
you
this
wanna
one
make a
also
cheaper
offers
one.
and this one also offers different amenities.
I don't know, man. I think that's too similar to, but that's not.
I don't know why you're turning down ads for your podcast.
I need. Well, I thought we were just pitching business ideas.
Those are two ideas that really haven't come on taken off yet for me, but I feel like they will at some point.
Okay, that's real. Those are. You have something with both of those. I think there's.
I don't think I have anything with the sock one.
No, I think the sock one's your better one though, considering the other one's already being done.
No, because I have a different vision for the other one, but it's just the way I described it sounds very similar to a airport club.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna you can't buy fancy drinks and sit down in this club. It's a club to
Just come in, shower.
Shower, It could be if you're extremely hungover at the airport, it's you've had a weekend with friends and or you go on a bachelor trip and you have to fly on a Monday morning or a Sunday morning, you can go in and kind of get anything you need there to kind of recover. But it also could be like, I just had a stressful week on a business trip. You can go and recover there as well. It's like more of like a airport recovery room.
Okay. I think that's a better way to brand it because people are so obsessed with like recovery. Like,
you could have an ice bath in there.
Exactly.
A
Like
Normatec.
yes, like sleep optimization, recovery, that type of stuff. I think you might be onto something with that. Adding that to the airport experience because I know there's a lot of, especially athletes who travel a lot.
Yeah.
That happens.
Like you could be sore at the. Have you ever been sore at the airport? You ever been sore on a plane?
Dog, I don't fly, bro.
You don't fly?
No.
Why don't you fly?
Because I'm not from California, bro.
That's not how it is. You can just. I mean, like you fly places regardless.
All right. So I flew to Atlanta back in November.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first time flying since December of 2019.
Did you not have to fly at Marist?
So my last 2 years, we didn't take no playing games.
You were just playing everything up in New England?
Yeah. Yeah, we did. I should probably spit my gum out. Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we can get into it now. We can
Get into your life story.
I don't know.
How much?
Well, should I introduce myself?
No,
I haven't even said my name yet.
I'm gonna say your name. It's
like because you got the pre-recorded opening.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever watch Joe Rogan?
No.
Okay. Well,
like I've seen I've had roommates in the past who watched clips, so I like watched it that way. But I've never been like a Joe Rogan listener.
You never sat down and listened to this man talk for 4 hours.
No, I don't have 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get it. He basically just like starts every podcast. He's just talking to the person that he's with. I kind of like that format where you just like,
just like opens up into a conversation.
But he doesn't even like sit down to like introduce them. He just like goes straight off.
I had a podcast like that, but they broke up.
Who's the podcast?
It was called Mixtape. It was not popular at all. It was. Do you know who Trill Withers is on Twitter?
Yep, I've seen that name.
Coley Mick. He's like a Boston fan. They had one. They just would talk for 3-4 hours. I'd listen to like the first hour, but they just start off talking, and they talk about anything, mostly basketball.
Homeboy's already back. Look at him.
Oh man.
He probably lapped her.
Is his girlfriend there?
I don't know.
She's not even close. For context, there was a couple out there, and we thought they were going to run the bridge together, and the boyfriend just took off, and she was not even close. So.
Yeah. Would you ever do something like that, or is that just like is that poor etiquette on the boyfriend standpoint? Like,
I see both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, you should like run with your girlfriend because, like, I feel like it depends on what she thinks.
Yep. Like she's nowhere in sight right now, and he just.
Yeah, she's not even. It's been like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
No, I think that like it depends on like if you're trying to get a workout in and like you're like very in shape.
Yeah.
I would probably just run at the same pace right now because I'm not incredibly in shape.
Why is that, Sam?
Why am I not incredibly like running shape?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have good running shoes. They were hurting my feet, but I just got new ones, so I'll be
What
back
kind did
running.
you get?
Hoka's.
Okay. Oh, right. I remember you told me this. So let's get into it, man. Let's actually.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about. All the listeners are gonna be like, "What is this?"
No, but I think that's good though. Like that's like a normal conversation that we have on a daily basis.
Can we just talk about stuff?
We just talk about random stuff.
Yeah.
We debate about random stuff. It's
very passionately.
Yes, it's very indicative. Is that the right word?
I don't know.
It's very indicative of our relationship, Sam. Symbolic of our relationship. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about it. You were a manager at Oregon.
Yes.
Go
for
Ducks.
3 years.
Shout out to the Ducks.
3 rings.
Okay, we know.
I say
you
that.
have 3
but it's
rings.
like a joke. It's like a joke.
Yeah, but it's not.
But I mean, I didn't do much to earn those rings in terms of making sure equipment was good. I'd rebound and get food. Like that's why I have those rings. So it's like I say the 3 rings as a joke because I think a lot of people are more deserving of the rings than I am. But I can still brag about it.
Right. And I think you are justified in bragging about it as a former manager myself. I think the managers are the hardest working people in the entire.
Thank you. I agree. Yeah. I mean, like, players work hard, obviously, but in terms of working and hours, yeah.
True. So how did you go about getting that? Because I'm sure what's the
Yeah.
process like getting a
It
manager
was.
job?
I mean, it was interesting. I think I didn't. I think what was good at the time, compared to like looking for jobs now, was like I did not have a lot of pressure on myself to like go get it. So like I was going into college. Um, we had like I have like a family friend who he played in the NBA.
You
Knew
could say his name.
no, it's a different guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
you know multiple NBA
Yeah.
players.
yeah.
Okay.
He was like a sub, like he was just like he played in the Celtics. His name was Jerry Seasting. He reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, I used to play with one of the assistants at Oregon." And I heard like it was like a month or two after I like fully committed to Oregon, like I was gonna go there. And he was like, just reach out and like see what the possibilities are. So I reached out to an assistant coach, really, really good guy. He like pushed me on to the video coordinator. I just reached out and I was like, hey, I'm interested. Would love to talk to you guys. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was like 17, 18. And I had no pressure on myself to be like, to worry about it. So it was like very, like coming into first year of college, like not really worrying about it. And I talked to them that summer going into like, at like freshman orientation. We like went up for a weekend. And they're like, yeah, we don't really hire freshmen like,
Wow.
because one, like, I think it's to help us, like to help the freshmen coming in. Because I think if I worked that job my freshman year of college, like making all the adjustments that you have to make when you're like going to college, especially if you're moving away.
Yep.
Like even though I went from like Northern California to Oregon, that's like still like far enough where I have to like kind of reestablish everything.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could have done what I did as a manager and also like acclimated to college in a way I wanted to. So it was helpful. So they were like, just stay in touch. So I just like every like few weeks like reached out to the video guy, being like, hey, like what's the status on the job? He's like, just keep waiting, you're all good. And then I reached out in spring and interviewed a few times, and just I got offered the job, and I was like, well, this is really cool. I didn't know what I was getting myself into at all, and did it, and it was like, I mean, there was obviously things that I was pretty, you work this job, you work a lot of hours, like you're tired, you're at college, you see all your friends having fun, like you're like, oh man, like I wish I was doing all that. Or like my sophomore year, like people were like, where did you go? I was like, yeah,
Road trips.
I have things now.
Yeah.
And so it was like my winter term, not my sophomore year, but my junior and senior year, were like half the time I was gone.
Yeah.
Like you understand.
The winter, I don't know what we did semesters, so I don't know what the difference.
So winter term is like, so we go fall term is like when you start school to winter break. And so we started late. It's 10-week periods. So we started like late September to winter break, which was like first
early
week
December.
like first, second week of December.
Yep.
Depending on when your finals were done.
So 10 weeks.
And so then so that's like the fall. So mostly like you practice all September, like 6 days a week going hard because you're preparing for the season. October you start sort of playing. No, October you practice too.
October's practice as well. You start to get into scrimmages towards late October.
Yeah.
And then November's when the season gets going.
Yeah. So those first 2 months of school are really difficult. And I think you can attest to it as a manager and a player. Like you're working a lot of hours or practicing a lot of hours. And from
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, from a manager's side, you're in there before the players and you leave after.
Yeah.
And that was tough. And like balancing that was crazy. But it's helped me now, like out of it. And then you get into the season and you're just playing games all the time. And when you're into the season, you're like locked in, like,
yeah,
and you're like pretty cool with just being like, yeah, like I'm doing something pretty cool, and like
yeah, you get to watch like future NBA players,
like multiple. Yeah. I mean, I worked with a lot of like really good players, like worked for, I guess, and a lot of them play overseas or in the G League. A couple are in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I hope like they can keep playing in the NBA and things like that. It's really nice like checking in on Instagram and seeing a lot of these guys. Like I saw a player, he's like an all-star in like Greece, and he's like one of the former players that like was a like really good guy, and like we always like kind of hoped he succeeded. tried in the NBA, like it didn't work out. It doesn't like you gotta realize like a lot of these college players, like a lot of them, like each player has 2 or 3 good players who, or each like most Power 5 conference schools have a guy, 1 or 2 guys who are capable of playing at a next level.
Yep.
I don't know if like NBA is one of them, but like you can play G League. Like, there's a lot of guys who go from college to the G League.
Right. Yeah, just because the NBA is so hard to get into. Like, if you look up the stats on it, and I know you're a big stats guy, there's only been, 4,500
NBA players of all time.
Ever.
Yeah, and it's like a fraternity in that way. Like,
yeah.
They pride themselves on that.
Big time.
So, behind the scenes, you see a lot of guys working for that and, like, stressed about it and anxious about it. Like, players, like, you see players when you watch games and they're, like, chilling, like, on the sidelines. They're in their, like, outfits or their jerseys and they're, like, there's a lot that goes on that I don't think people realize. Like, even for guys at the end of the bench, they've put in more hours than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And you get it. So it's like being a manager, I have to rebound and do and like go in and like help out with workouts and off seasons. Yeah, food. Jerseys, especially in like Oregon and Nike school, like that was difficult.
Big time.
But at the end of the day, like you get there and then you get into the postseason, and my first postseason, like the first postseason run I was a part of, we had a really up and down season. So it was like Bull, who was like, we were like this guy, like legitimately probably one of the best college players I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Live. And like I got to see him at practice every day. Like this is the baseline, and like he's right there, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you watch him, and he's like, I remember one day he went out there and he was taking the ball up the court. He's 7'2", 7'3", I think. Yeah. And he's scoring on all 3 levels. He went 14 of 15 from the field.
It's ridiculous.
And I was like, it was like September, October of the season.
Yeah.
So he went down with a broken foot in like December. And the whole team had to like, I'm trying to like to talk like them because I was merely a fly on the wall, but like a very exclusive one.
But yeah, you're still a part of it though.
Yeah. So the guys had to like kind of reinvent themselves as a team because they'd played like 5 weeks with the whole offense revolving around Bull.
Yep. And
then had a really roller coaster year. We thought we were out of it. Like we lost to some bad teams. Texas Southern came in and beat us in Eugene, and it was rough. Like
yeah,
you've been a part of teams that like you have high expectations. There's high expectations and pressure, and then to see that like kind of weigh on everybody, it affects the whole team. And then they went into the tournament like the 6th seed. Yeah, the 6th seed of the Pac-12 tournament.
Oh, okay.
Not the conference tournament.
Okay.
So they had to play 4 games. They had to win 4 games to win the tournament.
And they won.
So they went in and won the tournament. So we got an automatic bid to the NCAA, and we were the 12th seed. Played Wisconsin first round, beat them pretty badly. Went in confident. Like
who was on? Was that Nigel Hayes?
No, that was Ethan Happ.
Ethan Happ, yeah.
Ethan Happ in like one of the first years of Davison.
Oh, Johnny Davis?
No, not Johnny Davis. Brad Davison.
I don't know.
White guy, really stout. He's on the team last year.
Really?
Strong shooter. Yeah, he was really good. They played good defense. Classic Big Ten team.
Yeah.
Good defense. Everything revolved around Happ, who was their big man. And
solid
just kind of just
yeah.
There was this guy in Oregon named Kenny Wooten.
Yep.
The best vertical I've ever seen. Like he literally would float off the ground. He wouldn't even jump. Just like kind of just like turn on a button and go like take off. The gravity turns off and he just starts floating. It was so cool.
At 6'8", 6'9", right?
6'9", and so he's blocking. He's getting like 4 or 5 blocks a game, and then Peyton Pritchard took off. Like he just like everyone knows what Peyton did in college, and the accolades show it. And we ended up winning that game, beating UC Irvine because they beat I think Kansas State in the first round. They beat Them or Virginia Tech. They beat Nikhil Alexander Walker. Was he on Virginia Tech?
He was on Virginia Tech, yep.
So I think they beat Virginia Tech.
Good.
Why?
I can't stand Virginia Tech. I'm a Wahoo for life, man.
Okay, fair.
Shout out Justin Anderson.
Okay. Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so won that Sweet 16. We played Virginia.
Yep, exactly.
They won the national championship. That was Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy, Mamadi Diakite, DeAndre Hunter,
Jack Saul,
Kihei Clark freshman year.
Yep.
Yeah, so that team was really good.
Jack Saul.
And took them down to the wire. And so
Devin Hall.
That was like the coolest run because I'm fresh to it all. I didn't get to go on that's my first year, so like I didn't get to travel on anything. So my first trips were like really high stakes basketball.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then the next year, really good team, probably the best team in all the 3 years I was there.
Okay, so who was on that team exactly?
They had Chris Duarte, who was the 14th or 13th pick to the Pacers. I'm trying to think. Peyton, who was the national player, up for like Naismith Award.
Yep.
Won the Cousy Award. All American.
Who won it that year? Brunson? Or Zion?
No.
It was Brunson, Zion.
It was 2020.
2020.
It was was it Garza?
Yeah.
So Garza,
that sounds about right.
Garza, Miles Powell was one of the other guys. Mm-hmm. So that team was really good. So I had Peyton. He was just like lighting up the scoreboard every night. He might have had like couple triple doubles. That year, Oregon had a chance to win both the men's and women's tournament because the women's team had Sabrina and like 4 of the top 7 WNBA draft picks. It's like they went into UConn and beat UConn by like 30. They were.
Who else was on that team?
Satu Sabali, Ruthie Hebard,
Sedona Prince.
No, she was a year after. There was another guard. And she was really good. I forgot her name. That team was ridiculous. But so we went in, and then COVID hit us right when we were on our way to the to the first Pac-12 tournament game. So it's like what could have been. That team had Anthony Mathis, Shakur Justin, who plays in Greece now. Anthony Mathis, I think, is in the G League. Peyton, who's on the Celtics. Mm-hmm. Chris, that was his first year with Oregon, and he's on the Pacers now.
Yep.
It was for me like I don't talk to many of them like that much anymore, but just to be around all that and get that experience as like one, a fan, and then second, like a worker and a supporter of these guys and watching how hard they work every day and things like that. It was really cool because you see a lot of things pay off and a lot of struggles that a lot of people don't see pay off for these guys. And just like the reward that they get from it and like kind of the joy. You're like, wow, like that's really cool. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like, yeah, like I worked a lot and I did a lot of things, but I'm not on the court like hooping. Like, so it's like I'm making sure these guys get the water and the towels and whatever they need during the timeouts. I wipe up the sweat. I do their laundry. Like it was like, the work. It's like thankless work.
Exactly.
But like you meet all these people and you see what it's like for these teams of these high levels. Like that's why I don't really like when people on Twitter like are really highly critical of teams or like of all these college teams or of NBA guys. And, like, especially with gambling, like it's like there's no reason to be heckling these guys for their performances. Like there is a lot going on in their life that people don't really realize. And I think I try to push myself away from that now because I used to be a fan and like now I'm a fan, but like I just appreciate because I don't necessarily know like if a guy has a bad game, is it because he had a bad game or is like there actually stuff going on? Yeah. Like, like is he actually like, dealing with life stuff? Like these guys have lives. So that was like the main takeaway for me for all those 3 years was just seeing like the humanizing of an athlete. Which I think a lot of people, especially now, need to
understand and just and I've talked a lot about this on this particular podcast. For example, last year especially, it got really bad in the Sixers community where everyone was just coming after Ben Simmons and Doc Rivers, and everyone was just annihilating them. Like he was getting annihilated, and I was just like, you don't know his story, you don't know his situation. Let's relax on some of the terrible things that you're saying. And I'm sure you've seen it probably has an impact
Yeah,
on a lot of players.
you'd see guys like I didn't necessarily. I wasn't someone they confided in, with good reason. Like players would talk to me about problems that they had, but I wouldn't feel like I'm the person to give the advice because I don't fully understand everything that goes on.
Yeah, but
Coaches.
you're still good for advice, and you're still
Yeah,
good
yeah.
listening.
But I'm not gonna be like yo, like you should do this or you should do that. Like, there's coaches, there's people in their corners that they can talk about. I would listen, but I don't think I was like fit to be like, oh yeah, handle it this way. Like, so wait, I totally went off track. Where were we?
You're good. You're good. I was basically just talking about like how sports media. Well, okay, let's get into this.
Oh, how it gets on, guys?
Well, yeah.
Luckily, Oregon media, like Oregon sports media, wasn't super critical of our team, like the teams that I was working for. Luckily, I was like that we were good most of the time, where it's like there's not a lot of bad things to report. Yeah. And I also think that just the media of the area was just very like nicer. Like it wasn't like a New York market or whatever, you know.
Right. My thing is like, I guess you might feel the same way, but my issue is with some of the national media and some of the personalities and how they just drive narratives and how they push agendas that are kind of destructive and not genuine, and like the Skip Baylesses of the world.
Oh yeah.
As much as I love Stephen A, I think Stephen A is a culprit as well. Like my least favorite thing in the entire world is watching like Sports Center, or not Sports Center, but like watching like a debate show, like a First Take.
First Take, Undisputed.
First things first.
Yeah.
They're like, who's under the most pressure?
I'm not really big fans of those shows either.
Yeah.
I think they're entertaining and fun, and if you take it with a grain of salt, you're like, like that's fine. Mm-hmm. I think that definitely what they do is devalues sports media.
Big time.
Is that what I'm trying to say? Like it takes away. Like I think it's just going. It's all attention based. Whatever they can get people to look at. Mm-hmm. So it's like they'll say things to be like the headline of the day. For example, I was listening, and this isn't music, but I was listening to a Rap Radar podcast with Tyler the Creator. Mm-hmm. I think Tyler the Creator is a very well spoken person.
Yep.
With a lot of like good perspective on things.
Yep.
And it was an hour and 38-minute podcast, to which he got into everything in his life, like where he's at in his life, like what represents what he does for his music, how he views it as an artist, like all these things that are very, very near and dear to his heart, and why he loves it, and why he does, like he's like works very hard on his music, and genuinely has consistently released good music his whole career. He said one thing at the end, like last 10 minutes of podcast, and it was the only thing that got picked up by media. It was him talking about rap Twitter and how they rank people, and he hates how they rank artists because so much of it is opinion based, and it's like it was basically he just went into this 5-6 minute rant about it. That was the only thing that got posted from that interview, where it's like the whole interview was a very introspective thing in Tyler's life, and he doesn't do interviews. I mean, he does, but he doesn't do them that frequently.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing that got picked up, and I think that happens in NBA media.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the finding the little snippets and the clips, and I guess in this clip society, the way things get taken out of context, it kind of ruins a lot of really good content or really good perspectives on things, because people just want, negative things to latch onto, especially in the media. Now that you are working in sort of that environment where you're with these writers, you're literally on a day-to-day, like providing them with specific stats and specific clips and things that they need and notes, what do you think you can do to sort of...
Luckily, I think a lot of the writers that I've worked with this year or last year or whatever, like a lot of them are very good at their job and like have kind of I really only think that the main problem of this is in a lot of like social media based, TV based stuff, which I have worked minimally with. Like like writers who who AP, local papers,
Athletic.
yeah, athletic, those writers, like if you sit down and read their articles, like you will be consistently like I enjoyed reading that. I'm kind of like very impressed, respect the work that they do and all that. I think like almost like 95% of writers, maybe one or two who I've been like, I don't really know like if I like the tone of that. I've like been like, this is good work. Like it's not like, to me it's not like problematic. A lot of the writers who cover teams get to where they are because they're good at their job.
Yep.
And that's been the case for me with most writers that I've met or worked with. So I think it's a lot of like TV personalities and things like that where it's like you'll hear guys go up and say these things and you're like, well, like that's not factually based. Like you're just
Perkins.
So yeah, so with me with my role, like I'm just trying to do the best I can at assisting them.
Yeah.
And because I think that they do really good work and I think I can help. And if I can help in any way, like then I think I'm doing good work. I'm like young in it all, so I'm like I'm not gonna say I know everything. I know a few things. I'm just trying to like learn every day and get better. And if I can, work with more writers and see what they need or what they like, or then it helps me. But I don't think I've worked with a writer. I don't think I've like worked with people in media who have gone to that extent of like headline grabbing stuff. Like everyone does really good work. It's a lot of like Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter's the place where it's like I don't know.
It's a toxic place.
If you can get your algorithm right on Twitter, it's way better than
really.
Yeah, I think you can avoid a lot of stuff. I don't like the For You side.
Yeah, I don't like it, but it's always more entertaining than my following.
Yeah, because your following is like the same people. Like your For You gives you what your brain wants to see and gives you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily always a good thing,
No.
because my following, like say like, I don't know, I follow like CNN or something like that and it's on my timeline and like I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I go over here, it's all the trending stuff that's happening on Twitter, like all the NBA gossip, all the Guardians gossip, whoever, the type of people I would follow and I would want to see and I've interacted with on Twitter. And it's like, okay, I don't know if this is good for me, but I'm still scrolling and I'm hitting my cap every day. I give myself, I think 45 minutes of Twitter a day.
That's pretty good.
And I hit my cap every day though.
I think like I've kind of made my algorithm or who I follow. Like during baseball season, I'm getting everything I need for baseball.
Yep.
During football season, I'm getting everything I need for football or fantasy football. I love fantasy football. So it's like basketball, I'll always like, that's like kind of a year-round thing. Like Twitter's like, NBA Twitter is year-round. Like,
yeah,
you give like, after this week, people are already looking on to free agency.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like if you're a fan of the NBA, it doesn't really stop because the NBA is a big reality show a lot of the times. Or
that's how it's covered. It's the longest season too.
Yeah, and that's how it's covered.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the drama. Like, what's the drama today? Like, I would say that more than like the NBA has been, like the finals, the actual NBA finals is going on, and I'm hearing more about where players are going, controversies surrounding certain players that I don't think we need to name. And like I'm hearing about that more.
Yeah.
I'm hearing about like we're already like anointing players' crowns. They haven't even won the championship yet. We're already like saying duos are better than other duos. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna like, oh yeah, Nikola Jokic is this dude who's unguardable. He can, if you take away the paint, he'll just beat you from the outside and play point guard as a 6'11", 290 guy against an 8-seed team full of a bunch of undrafted guys who pretty much shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Or like it created who they are today.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler, who had, I mean, they're spurting.
He's
like,
the scrappiest superstar in the league.
And they're tired. Like, so it's like.
They played, what, 2 7-game series?
Yeah, so it's like, that's really cool. And even before the series started, there was talks of like, oh, this isn't something that we can cover. Like, I just gave you the story right there.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I guess people with the conference finals being the Lakers versus the Nuggets and Celtics versus the Heat, everyone wanted that Lakers Celtics match.
Not everyone. Not me. But that's what the Ben would have wanted.
Yeah, that's what Twitter would have wanted. That's what I'm sure Adam Silver would have wanted. That's what a lot of people would have wanted just because of the ratings that would come from it, the storylines that would come from it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is mostly just like toxic stuff. It's like, would this affect his legacy? Would this affect that legacy? Like, it's one season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially for someone like, okay, I'm going to talk about LeBron James specifically, who's played now 20 seasons in the NBA. You are now going to derive storylines about this man based upon one particular season and a 20-year span where he's been arguably the most dominant player ever.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, for me, like, yes, I'm a Warriors fan, but it was like, so the Warriors lost this year. I have to say that. That's how I have to say it now. It's, yes, I'm a Warriors fan. I can't just be like, yeah, I'm a Warriors fan. Guess what?
Since when, though? That's when you got...
5 years ago today, I was celebrating at Oracle Arena the 2018 2017 championship, so 6 years ago today.
Yep.
But yeah, anyways, I was at We Believe games when I was young. I was in the Monte Ellis era, like that. Like, I've been a fan.
Yeah. Jason Richardson.
So, like, Bob Myers stepped down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Which, to me, going into it, made sense. Guy's been a GM year-round. So think about it. 15, 16, 17, 18.
The 6 finals
19.
Runs.
5 in a row finals runs.
Yep. 6
Lost in 19. Lost in 16 and 19.
Yep.
Then your job gets even harder because you go into 2020 and you lose Steph with a broken hand for the year. I guess that was what happened. Mm-hmm. Draymond is on and off. Clay, Achilles, right? Yep. So then that team stinks. So you have to figure out how to rebuild this championship contender. They get Wiseman. They have like that whole year. That's probably another stressful year because you have pressure on you with the second pick of what you're going to do. And obviously didn't work out. I just don't think it was a good fit. I think Wiseman's a good player. I always thought he was a really good player.
Yeah.
Like he's like that guy is. Like, if he figures it out, he's
extremely talented.
Is he 21, 22?
He's about 21, 22. Yeah, exactly. And people already write him off since he got traded. It's like, I don't like how things get just so warped so fast.
Well, the timeline, your life in the NBA starts so early now.
Yeah.
Well, it's always started pretty early. I mean, guys that got drafted out of high school.
Yeah, but Wiseman was getting hype going into his freshman year at Memphis, so it feels like it's been longer than it actually is.
Which, by the way, really cool fact. Like, he played 3 games in college.
Yeah.
Oregon, we went up to Portland and played him once. We were one of the 3 teams to play him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, shut him. Like, he didn't have a very good first. He had a quiet first half, and he kind of started playing ball in the second half. And funny enough, I saw Bob Myers there. He was sitting courtside. And so they ended up taking him. But,
interesting.
Yeah, it was funny. But and then so Clay gets hurt again.
Yep.
They draft Wiseman. They got to figure it out again. They were an 8 seed or whatever. And
yeah,
that's that's many years Steph just went super crazy, and there was like 8 people in the stands. And then 2022, another finals run. This year just the probably incredibly stressful year. So okay, that's it. That's what Bob Myers' last 10 years, like 10-ish years.
Yeah.
Of just going super hard to the grindstone.
Mm-hmm.
He steps down. Obviously,
he's also there for a brand new arena that was very controversial.
Yeah, also that itself. Too. And so that job, that's hard. That's really really hard, and like stressful. And I couldn't even really begin to describe what it is because I don't know. But you can assume like working in a front office like that's
big time.
That's a lot. And so he sits down.
He's also in San Francisco. Like, it's not an easy city to be in.
What do you mean in what terms? In like
a pressure from like billionaires and millionaires of Silicon Valley. It's like those are a lot of the main stakeholders in the Warriors franchise.
Yeah, and the fans have a lot of. I mean, Bay Area fan, we have high expectations now because of our last decade.
Yeah, exactly.
So he says like he steps down, which I think was written on the wall for most of the year. I think what Warriors Twitter knew that. I'm not very involved on Warriors Twitter. I also think that's funny how it's like there's like a Twitter for
Yeah, exactly.
But he steps down and everyone's like, "Oh, the dynasty's over," blah blah blah, and like you just go on the Twitter mentions and there's so many like bots and like stan accounts and they like post memes and most of it's trolling, but that's the culture of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this guy stepped down because he wanted to hang out with, he wanted to be around his family more probably,
yeah.
and he's
Made his
tired,
money, yeah,
and he's probably just, I don't know if, who knows if Bob Myers is gonna get back into sports.
yeah. He doesn't need to.
He totally could just like go work in like tech world and do the same thing.
Well, you know what? Something about Bob Myers that I didn't really realize until recently. He's very well spoken. He's a great orator. He's also a great interviewer. I don't know why ESPN allowed him to have an exclusive sit down with J. Cole. I don't know if you saw that.
He has a podcast too.
Bob Myers does? I didn't know
he was
that.
podcasting during the season. He had Steph on his podcast and stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The word around, I mean, what I've heard about Bob Myers, just because like I've read a lot of stories on him and stuff, but it's like Bob Myers he like genuinely wants to know people's opinions on things to help him make his decisions. Like he would sit down with just like people and ask them what they thought of a certain player. Like there's countless stories of that. I mean, I don't know the type of people. Like it could be me or you, or it could be like someone who's like in the know.
Yeah.
So I think that's like something. He's just a curious guy.
Yeah, and that's something to be said about someone like that. It's just because like you never know what nugget or what special piece of information or what special thing someone can share with you, and you can use that to grow and become better. Like you can learn from everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like that. Okay, quick question. What made you want to go to Oregon in the first place?
Interesting. So originally going into college or going like into the college application process, I don't know what it was like for you. It was very stressful for like my whole area. It's like there's a lot of pressure they put on the kids, and when I got to school and I learned about everyone else's like kind of college application process, it was a lot less pressure. So I'm like, is this just like a product of my environment? Or like, is this just like, it just depends on where you are. So there was like a lot of like, know what you want to do with college, like sophomore, junior year, which is probably like
Of high school?
they wanted you to start thinking about it. Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, we had a very like good, I went to a very like a good school, like a really good high school. Like just like a lot of people who graduate, they're going to do pretty cool things. Including like a lot of people I know, and
It's competitive.
Yeah, you're taking APs early, you're doing all that. Like I know kids who were taking 6 classes and they were all either AP or honors. Like it's really hard. Yeah, so I had kind of like always had a dream of going to Syracuse.
Let's go, yes sir.
So I wanted to be a sports journalist growing up, sports broadcaster. So like I had this idea of wanting to go to like these sports business, sports broadcast schools. Like I've always wanted to work like or try to work in sports. And so I was like Syracuse, like hands down where I want to go.
Nothing better, man.
Like I was like following the basketball team, like
sir.
I was really
Who was
into
on
it.
it at the time?
So like the teams that I were really into was like the Tyler Ennis era.
Yes, bro.
Like the Tyler, like I still like the Tyler Ennis half quarter.
Christmas.
The half quarter against Pitt.
Yes.
I think Syracuse was number 1 in the nation.
Yep, undefeated,
And
number 1.
that what kept them going.
Yeah.
So I remember that game very like vividly. Raheem Christmas, Dion
Waiters,
Michael Benajay,
yep.
Dion Waiters,
Yep.
yes. Trying to think of other players. It was before O'Shea Brissett, but I liked O'Shea Brissett.
Yep.
Tyler Lydon.
Yep, Leiden,
Tyus Battle, yes. And then like
Malachi, I don't know.
That was after. That was like kind of after. So then I wanted to do that, and then I in California, especially like where I'm from, so many people go to Oregon. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, it's just like we call it UC Eugene. So there's all the UC schools like UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Cruz,
Yep.
UC Davis, all those. we called it UC. I mean, my dad did, and like other parents, we called it UC Eugene as a joke because everyone goes there.
Yeah.
So it's like I started learning from friends who went up there, like how cool it was. Like I had friends sending me photos of campus, like trying to, obviously trying to like be like, you should come here. Like don't go all the way to Syracuse. So then I went up and I was like, all right, like the school seems pretty cool. Like it's big sports. A lot of people I know go there, so it's like just far enough away from home, but still close to home, where I can do a weekend or whatever. So I was like, yeah, like definitely like top of my school list right now. Then I went up and I visited it at like the perfect time. So when you go in Oregon, it's funny. Like the first month and a half, it's sunny and fall and really nice, and then you hit like October, November, and it's not necessarily pouring rain, but it's like cloudy and rainy or misty all the time.
Yeah.
Until spring.
That's
like,
Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
So, and you get like 3 days in February where it's like 65 and everyone goes out like it's the middle of summer. Yeah, it's amazing. It's like you're like, oh my gosh, the sun, it's a thing. And so I went up like the first week of spring. So everyone's out. Like campus is bustling, and everyone's just having a good time. Everyone's in community. I'm like, wow, this school is awesome.
Yeah.
And you're 16, 17 being like, oh my gosh, like whatever. And then so I came away from that being like, I pretty much want to go here.
Yeah.
There was other schools I was like thinking about. None ever were like I got into like a good amount, and I was just like, nah, like I got into Oregon in like October of my senior year, and I was like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like if I got into like UCSB, which is not really a possibility.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can think about this because UCSB is on the beach. Really, really like high quality school.
Really, that's a good school. Like
Yeah.
really, like
It's a very good school. All the UCs are like, all the UCs.
I know Berkeley.
Berkeley is one of
UCLA
the top
as well.
public schools
Yeah.
in the nation. UCLA is like the might still be most highly applied to school.
I think so.
And then, like Davis is a really good school. It's all like a lot of science. So I wanted to do communications. I think UCSB had a communications school, but it was like kind of hard to get into because there's not a lot of, like room, I guess.
Yeah.
Oregon has a really good communications school. So it was
Yeah.
like kind of just like a good situation. I went up there and like I have no regrets. I loved it. Like every second. There were times I didn't like it, but it was like freshman year. I was still figuring things out, but every second, otherwise, like, just had a great time. And like, I would tell anyone who I was thinking about going there, like, don't worry, like anything bad you hear about it, like, I don't really believe that. It's a great school, great sports, wonderful staff. Like my teachers were all great and really helpful. Professors, excuse me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so that's basically what it was. It was like my first school I wanted to go to. I visited and I was like, yeah, it's pretty simple.
Did you ever get like lost in the shuffle there?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, here's an example. Going to a school like Marist, there's 4,000 undergraduates. Very, very small. By the second week of every semester, all of my professors knew my name. Granted, I'm an easy face to remember. You know what I mean? So compared to the demographics at the school. So I don't know if that played a role, but like,
yeah.
Was it like big lecture halls? Like my biggest class at Marist was 30 people.
Yeah, that was not the case. If you were in a big class with a lot of people, you had to make yourself known to the professor to establish a relationship. No, like I think first 2 years you're in a lot of lecture hall classes. 150 people. So you can get lost in the shuffle, which is tough. Like, but I will say, like, I also had like 4 or 5 more like classes where it was like 30-ish people, and I really got to know like my professor. Unfortunately, I had a year and change of like I had senior year was all online.
COVID, yeah.
My junior year going into summer, which I took a bunch of classes.
Yep.
All online. And then my last term of spring was all online. So that was a lot of missed opportunity of like the classes that you really want to make a relationship with your professor so you can get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
That was my missed opportunity of like getting to know anyone because it was COVID. I couldn't talk to him.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily get that opportunity, but I wouldn't say lost in the shuffle. I kind of chose to just like get by. I didn't necessarily need professor help for my classes.
Right.
And that's not saying it was hard. I was just like, if I needed help on a paper or something, I'd go in and talk to him. But I wasn't in there all the time.
Yeah.
So you can't get lost in the shuffle. I wouldn't say it's detrimental.
Got you. What would you say as like a piece of advice to someone who's going to like a giant school like that?
A giant school?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, for me, I never really got overwhelmed by it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of people there. You just like make sure your friends are like good friends. I have like a really good group of friends from school, and then I had from that group of friends and from people that I met like my freshman year going in, I was just very social.
Yep.
If you're social and you're polite and you're cordial and you just meet people like even in the dorms and like you're comfortable with just like talking to someone and not knowing anything and not feeling like they're judging you or things like that, just like be open to it because you're gonna meet all these people and then by the end of it all you're gonna have your great friends and then you're gonna go around, you're gonna see familiar faces all the time.
Yep.
The way it worked at Oregon is we had our freshmen were all in the dorms.
Yep.
And then sophomore year and on, you can live off campus. But off campus, where everyone lived was like this. If you were in an apartment building, you were in this like 4x6 block radius, like area of houses that had 5, 6, 7, 8 people in them, and like you're all around each other all the time.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
you're gonna see everybody you know. So I wouldn't. There's like just like for someone going to a big school, try to find really good core friends, and then just be comfortable with that. And then if you're gonna meet people, I know a lot of people who like went to school, didn't necessarily like the social scene, but then just hung out in their room all the time. And it was like, well, like go try like a school club. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Right.
Go play basketball at the rec. I met so many guys just hooping.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like
you meet so many guys at the gym just hooping.
Yeah.
So
those become some of your best friends.
we made friends with there was a lot of Japanese students at Oregon, and my friends and I would go in the summer and play, and we'd always go to these courts, and we meet Japanese Chinese kids who are overseas kids, and we play basketball with them. Get to know a few of them if they were on our team or whatever, and then you see them around. You're like, "Hey, what's up, man?" You see them in a class. You sit down with them, and it's like you're sitting with them for 50 minutes.
Yeah,
catch up, whatever. See them at the gym, whatever. Just you got familiar faces all around. Just be nice to people. But I don't think there's anything. I think there might be an idea of like a large school and getting overwhelmed, but you'll see people all the time. That's like kind of what it is. Like that's the trade off.
Yeah.
More people, more familiar faces, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's a really good point about going and playing pickup basketball at the rec. So I played my first semester on campus. I was playing with this sophomore. His name was Rob. Super nice dude, super good player, like a little bit undersized, but he played super hard. And, I really enjoyed playing with him. So I text him from time to time, like when you hitting the rec, that type of stuff. So Rob graduates, and I'm the senior on the team now, just enjoying life. And we have a walk-on. His name is Tom, and we're just mind you, this is months into the season. Me and Tom are just sitting in our hotel room because we were roommates, because he's the other walk-on. We're the only two walk-ons on the team. And we're just sitting in there, and he's like, yeah, so my brother Rob and I was just like, wait a second. And I looked at my phone. I'm like, they got the same last name. I'm like, is this your brother? And I'm like, no way.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like that you never would have realized that if, I never would have known, Rob.
Yeah.
Just because, we never would have crossed paths except for going to the rec.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, there's people who I took a literature class one time. You had to take all these, you had to fill these requirements. Kid I met in that class, we still tweet at each other sometimes, and he'll DM'd me on my birthday, it's like he's checking in on it's still cool, you have all these kind of random college people and kind of everyone you're not obligated to check in all the time, but everyone goes and does their thing, and then you're like, hey, see them. That's what I like about social media is oh, this person just did this. I
Yeah.
remember this person. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like this guy just got this sweet job. Good for him. Or,
Yeah.
you know, or he just moved here. Or, I don't know. But it was, yeah, like that. The rec. There's like 3-4 guys I met at the rec who I was just like, I'd see him all the time.
Yeah.
But like we'd hoop, we'd say what's up, great relationship. But other than that, like you're just nice to each other.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Like that's what you need in college.
But that's like your boy now. Like every time you see it, what's up, man?
Yeah, like what's up? Like yeah.
There was a hilarious social media video. I'm sure you probably seen it too, where it's like how guys like get to know.
Yeah,
each other.
that's what it was. You're
Yeah.
just like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, what's up? What's up? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Oh, dude. And like the funniest thing is like my mom, or like if I was with like a girl at the time and you know you're walking with them and you say hello to someone and it's like, oh, what's his name?
No idea.
No idea.
Yeah,
Oh, what year is he?
no
I
idea.
couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
his major? Couldn't tell you. He's got a crazy jump shot though.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was I found out his name because we connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But it was like this kid and I played on we played on this like team at the rec, and our team was pretty good. We stayed on for a few games, and like we were like joking the whole time. It was like we were saying lines from like movies. I think there was a lot of like I think it was like when Black Panther and Infinity War came out.
Oh yeah.
So we would like hit a 3 and point at the guy and be like, "Is this your king?"
Oh,
like all
yeah.
this, and so that was it became like our joke. And then he worked at the camp. Like he got a job at the campus Chipotle.
No.
And
way.
I ate Chipotle like every day in college. Like it was not good. That's why I like, can't eat it now.
Really?
I don't like Chipotle anymore.
Have you had it that much since you've been here?
Yeah, here the
Yeah.
Chipotle here is not very near my house or my apartment is not very good.
Yeah.
The chips are always stale and the food the meat's always dry. So I haven't
Yeah.
gone there a lot.
There's one in Steelyard. It's not that great either.
Yeah, so I mean I haven't had a lot of Mexican food since I've been here. So
You live right by a Mexican spot.
that place, yeah, it was the second. Last night was the second time I've been there.
Oh, that taco. But
Those tacos.
they're good.
Yeah, but they're so big.
Yeah.
The food's falling off.
How much did you get?
I got the normal whatever. I got like the plain Jane taco, which by its name, plain Jane. It's like the most basic taco. I ate first bite. I ate everything fell out because it's like
Was it one or did you have multiple?
I had one of those and then like a cheesy amigo was what it was called.
Uh,
I think tacos need to have less material inside. Than the ones there. That's my gripe with that place.
but they're good and they're huge.
Blue Agave has great tacos.
That's the place we went to over by the office, right?
Yes, that place. But the other one, I didn't like. I don't like how big their tacos are.
Okay.
They need to make those burritos.
What about Barrio?
Have not
Tried
been there.
that?
Is that a chain out here?
Yeah. It's
No, I
fire.
haven't
There's
been
one
there.
in Tremont.
I
We
think
should
there's
go
one
sometime.
downtown.
We can walk over from here. Oh, there's one downtown?
Yes,
It's one in the ballpark.
it's like a chain. Is it like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Chipotle level chain?
Yes, and it's very similar to Chipotle where like they will give you like a note card and you like write down everything that you want and then
Oh,
they bring
cool.
it out to you. It's actually really nice.
I like that.
We should definitely go then.
Okay, then let's go.
All right, perfect.
What else?
In terms of places here?
No, just like what else do you have?
Oh, for the podcast? There was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, what? Why don't you think I could eat 40 wings?
Okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about this. I think you. So for context,
Sure. Give context. Because I never give context.
no. For context on this, because
Okay.
this is like one of our arguments.
Absolutely.
You claim that you can eat 40 wings in one sitting, and to define sitting, it's 2 hours long. You could eat 40 wings
In
in
2
2
hours.
hours.
Sitting down, eating dinner.
So have you ever eaten food for 2 hours?
At a dinner, Sam?
You're eating consistently for 2 straight hours. 100. I feel like you're overestimating how long of a time that is.
Well, I'm just giving myself time.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like I could get it done in an hour. I'm just saying, like, in a 2 hour period, say I want to talk, say I want to drink some water, say I want to, like...
Well, yeah, you're going to have to drink some water because it's so much food.
Dude, it's not that much
40
food.
wings.
40 wings.
Drums or flats?
Both. Sam, okay. That's the thing, though. It's like, some people like you are just sleep. Like, you don't understand.
No. It's just like a lot of food. I'm not sleeping.
But Sam,
Have you eaten 40 wings before?
Not in one sitting.
What's the most you've eaten in one sitting?
Maybe 20.
And how'd you feel after that?
Oh, probably terrible.
Probably terrible?
Dude, I can
double that.
Say if I fast for 24 hours, right? Water, I can fast that long. Only water, only like a light, say I want an orange or something, or a piece of celery. Dude, you actually don't believe in me. That's actually crazy.
No, I believe that you could eat. I don't believe in anyone to eat 40 wings. It's not just a you thing.
Wait, Joey Chestnut?
Okay, well,
Matt Stoney?
That's like being like, I don't think LeBron James could score 40 points. That's like literally their profession.
Yeah, okay. But I think like anybody...
You know, I tried to do a hot dog eating contest.
How much did you have?
It was 10 minutes, like the normal one.
Yeah.
I was 16. It was on 4th of July. I went and bought the Nathan's hot dogs from the store. I got 24 of them in 10 minutes time.
Dog,
I ate in 10 minutes time. I ate 11.
Oh, I thought you ate all 24 for a second.
And I felt horrible for 3 days.
Dude, I'll take the L.
You cannot do 40 wings.
Sam.
You can I think you could do you could do 20. But 40 wings is so much. And I think that you are genuinely 40 wings is so much food. You could not eat 40 wings in one sitting.
It is a lot of food, but I feel like if you have the appetite, like I'm a big guy, I can eat like
I have not eaten that much today. I had a couple pieces of avocado toast, and I was really hungry when I was at Trader Joe's, so I went to Starbucks and got a wrap, a really tiny wrap. I haven't eaten that much today, and if I was to go home and make wings right now, I would make 12, and I would be very full.
Wait, okay. Here's my thing.
That's probably the max for me.
Yeah, 12, that's like a dinner. Yeah, 12 to 15, that's like a dinner. Perfect. But here's the thing. You make giant wings, too.
No, not those wings. I'm talking, if I was to make classic wings.
Like the
if I was to make the classic like restaurant wings, I would eat 12
for a dinner. I'm talking like food challenge. I want to test my limits. I want to test my boundaries. I want to see how well I can do.
You're not getting to 40.
I think I could take it down.
I think the best eater I know, the best like person who can eat a lot of food in sittings, I know, would not be able to do 40. I don't think it's just a you thing. I just think it's a general thing. 40 wings is so much food. I threw this up on a Twitter poll. 80% of people said they could.
Yes.
All lying to themselves.
No, because they know it's possible. They know what's possible when you put
There's
your
two
mind
people
to it.
who... There's one person I know who... And he knows who he is if he watches it. I don't think he'll watch this.
Oh, what? Why you gotta be
because I just don't think he's... I mean, like...
Fair enough.
He doesn't know Echols Unlimited.
It's an amazing podcast.
He will watch this eventually when it blows up, and people go back in the archives, and they'll be like, "Sam, he's on."
Yeah, that's it. No way.
But he said you obviously haven't seen me eat, and I'm like, well, I have. I was like, maybe you, maybe him, maybe him. I just 40 wings is.
You haven't seen me eat though.
40 wings is a lot of wings, dude.
But you haven't seen me like eat, bro.
I have seen you eat. We've eaten many meals together.
But like you haven't seen me like
eat. When you're hungry?
Yes.
I just don't think you can do it. I just don't think anyone can. I don't think a lot of people can do it.
Fair enough, Sam. I think I definitely think I can. I definitely think it's possible. Like what do you said 20. Like I've done 20. Like I feel like that's easy. Okay. Here's the thing. When you get like an all you can eat buffet and you can like really throw down and you're fasted and everything like that, and say okay, here's another disclaimer. Before I eat the 40 wings, I need to run at least 5 miles. because that way, like, I will have like a good workout in.
So we're adding stipulations to this.
Yeah. I get a 2-hour window. I have to run at least 5 miles, and I will also be fasted for probably 12 to 16
I don't
hours.
want you running 5 miles with no food in your stomach.
I do it all the time.
This is turning into a dangerous challenge.
Like,
And now I
okay.
sound like a mother.
No. Okay. Like, it's like, how do I explain it? It's like first thing in the morning, like if you go for a run, you don't eat breakfast beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just like I drink my water, I drink my greens, and I go for my run.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, if I do 5 miles a day, perfect. I'll come back. I'm normally not hungry until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. We can go then. Go to the spot, get the wings. Sam, I really think I can, and I really think this is possible.
If you be my guest, like prove me wrong.
Right. I will post the video on Echols Unlimited when it happens.
It should be an Echols Unlimited live podcast of you eating the wings, and like I could host.
Okay.
Someone else could host. I could host with somebody. I could have people on during the wing challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You could live stream this.
Got you. Okay.
But
we can make an event of it.
But yeah, I just created some content for you.
Perfect, bro. Hey, man.
But I don't think you could. I don't think if you do it, but be my guest, prove me wrong. Like I'd be fine if I'm wrong here. That's okay. I think people should accept when they're wrong.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Okay.
I don't think you can do it.
If I'm wrong, I'm definitely wrong too. I want to own up my end.
That you had a little too much confidence.
I overestimated my capabilities.
Yeah.
Yes, I will firmly admit that as well. Okay, you've seen it here. You've seen it here. We have accepted the challenge. The challenge will happen, and it will be posted on Echols Unlimited in some form or fashion. Sam, before we take off, I have one more thing I want to ask you. How has your experience been with the Cleveland Guardians?
Wonderful. I think I have nothing bad to say. I felt very welcomed coming in. I think at this point of the season, I'm really learning, really learning. Coming out here was like a huge step for me, and definitely been tough at times. But I think I'm making the most of it. But yeah, I think like everyone you can say everyone we've worked with is pretty awesome. And it's like a wonderful culture. Really nothing bad to say. It's been a great experience so far, and it's kind of crazy to think that we're at game 65 of 162.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like it's gonna start going really quickly.
Yeah, dude. It's like you don't want it to end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because like things are starting to like.
Then you gotta make the next step. But yeah,
exactly.
I'm having a great time.
Perfect, dude. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate all your answers. I was kind of hoping for. I was kind of fishing for a compliment there. You know, you would shout out the dude who sits next to you every day in the office, but you know.
I said everyone.
Yeah, but you didn't say. You didn't like give me a specific shout out. You're like, oh, the guy sitting next to you. Oh, he's really handsome. He's really cool.
So you want me to come
smart.
on your podcast
really
and praise you?
Duh. Why do you think I had you on, bro?
So we work in this. We work in like a classic intern room. I'm gonna look straight into the camera on this one.
Yeah.
And there's 5 cubicles and a copier, so people are coming in and copying things all day. To my right, Terrence, he sits there.
Yep.
It's like sitting next to a golden retriever. You leave for 30 seconds and you come back and he acts like he hasn't seen you in 10 years. Which is, I think at first I was kind of annoyed by it, but now I've grown appreciation to it.
What up, Sam?
I hear that 10 times a day.
That's the best part of your day, ain't it, bro?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Facts.
All right, well, thank you for having me on. I didn't think I'd be on this podcast. It was like, I think I can put myself in the same breath as like professional basketball players now.
Yeah, big time.
Even former NBA players now.
Yeah, shout out my guy Tyler Kavanaugh. Came on the podcast. Just won a championship out in Europe. He's the man.
Tyler Kavanaugh?
Yeah.
Where'd he play? Was he at Marist?
I think he played at Wake and then he transferred to George Washington. He played at my high school.
Was he at George Washington? This year?
The year they won the NIT. Back in 2016.
Oh, okay, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I knew there was a guy who played at Oregon who ended up at George Washington this year.
Oh, I see.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
we
man.
can keep going forever, but
Yeah, true. No, I appreciate you.
thank you for having me on.
Of course. Anything else you'd like to plug before we finish? Plug your Instagram.
Yeah, I don't really post that much, but Sam Stack 1.
Yeah. Twitter.
Nah, I don't. Nah. Twitter Sam_Stack_. I don't really tweet from that much anymore. I usually just like scroll.
What do you tweet from?
I don't really tweet. I don't really tweet at all. I mean, I would tweet if I had an account to tweet from. But I don't think it's worth it to put all my thoughts out there. Mm-hmm. They're weird.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, dog.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was about
Wait. Okay.
Can I lend you a hand?
Yes, you can lend me a hand.
Yes.
High five.
She is very gorgeous to me.